Hello and welcome to another episode of Women in Power. Today's guest is so amazing. She is a social media powerhouse, a CEO, she is a talent manager, and a philanthropist. This chick, Juliana Goddard, better known as Yes Julz, is so amazing because this woman is conquering the world and is unapologetic about it. And I cannot wait to see how she does so much. And she is only in her 20s. Let's go find out and talk about it. Let's get the scoop on this one. How are you? Oh my gosh.
So nice to meet you.
Oh, wow.
Welcome.
Thank you. Your place is so great and so nice to meet you.
It's so nice. It's kind of messy. We're just like I'm getting boxes every day of all my stuff. I've been here for 5 days, so.
Did you rent this?
We're renting, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Smart. I didn't want to have to give you the don't buy a house lecture. Good
Really?
for you.
Why not?
Oh, no, girl.
No, don't
That's
buy
a
houses?
liability.
Really?
No,
we didn't talk about this.
Yes, we do.
Because I thought wasting money on rent was
No, you want to make that money work for you. So you rent where you live and you own what you rent. You understand? We own about 5,500 apartment units right now. We own what people pay us, they rent.
Okay.
We rent where we live.
Okay.
So you get your money working for you, cash flow. But that's another thing. We'll
should
get
talk
you right.
about
We'll
that.
get you
I
right.
almost bought, I got the house
No.
before I saw it. And then the only reason why I didn't buy it was because there's no bathtub. And I could have obviously put my bathtub in. But
No. Oh, I'm so glad you didn't do that. Thank you so much for being on Women in Power.
No, thank you for coming. I'm so excited to have you here. You're my first house guest.
Wow, I feel honored. Yay. Well, you know what fascinates me about you is that you have done so much. You're a CEO. You have all these amazing connections. You have this mantra, never not working.
It looks so good on you. I love
well, thank
it.
you for the phone case. And I believe in this. I mean, even when I'm doing social hour or people think I'm in a club, or even when I'm traveling the world, people think I'm on vacation. They don't understand every second of every single day, whether I am enjoying my time laying on a beach or not, I am never not working. Like, no matter what, my mind is not being shut off. I'm always thinking about something. I'm always plotting. I'm always planning. So that's what attracted me to you, is that you're absolutely so fascinating to me. And I want to pick your brain, and I want to know, just from the very beginning, I gotta go back before we go forward to what was little Julz like, little Juliana. Your mom called you Juliana.
Yeah. I was very creative. I had a lot of different friends. I grew up in foster care, and there was a children's home called Little Rascals that I grew up and spent a lot of time in. So there's a lot of kids of different ages there. And I was putting on concerts in our clubhouse and making signs that said TLC show 2 p.m. outside, and getting in trouble for that because it was like during class hours at 2 p.m. for some of them. And I was always just kind of like I got suspended in elementary school for selling pencils on quiz day.
You're an entrepreneur.
And
they tried to shut it down.
Yeah, my mom used to she would pick me up and she'd give me a few slaps, and then
Now wait, is this your biological mom or your foster mom?
Yeah, this is my mom that adopted me. Her name's Johanna. She's my angel. I call my birth mother Michelle.
Okay.
So,
do you know her?
Yeah, I do know her. And I think obviously mom is a role. And so
That's right.
That title goes to whoever plays that role. For me, that's Johanna. So she'd pick me up and I'd be like, man, at first I'd get the punishment. And then after it died down a little bit, she'd come into my room and she'd be like, listen, I know that you're getting in trouble for all this right now, but one day it's gonna work in your favor. And she knew since I was like 6 years old. I've known her since I was 2. I got adopted when I was 9.
Was she your foster mom from 2 to 9?
She was the supervisor at the children's home that I was at. So I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Matilda. There's a movie Matilda.
I saw the play in London,
Okay.
but not the movie.
Okay,
but that
so
was
the
scary.
story is it's very similar. There's like some mean teachers where I was, and then there was this really nice supervisor who would let me sit in the front of the school bus and like let me pick out the movie on movie day and stuff. So that was her for me, and we grew up a relationship, and she ended up being my mom. But I definitely got in trouble a lot for I was always very talkative, always asking a lot of questions. I'd probably get on teachers' nerves early on. But then as I went into high school, you know, I was in drama, I was in chorus, I was on the track team, I was on the basketball team, I was student council, you know, I was doing the radio show in the morning. So I was kind of like doing everything, even in high school. And I thought that that was just something that I was doing as a teenager because I was trying to find out what I liked, but what I realized was that I liked everything that I was doing. And so as an adult, that just continued, you know, and I found a way, luckily being of the digital age, you know, luckily I'm blessed to be who I am and be alive in this time because I'm able to use all of my, I guess, talents and interests and really have built a media company that encompasses all of those things. So finding a way to make money off of doing what I've been doing my whole life has really been the biggest blessing. And that's really what the Never Not Working mantra is. You know, my mom, she was working at this place with these kids who were at risk youth. And, you know, when she adopted me, she moved to Boston and she got a job. I can't wait to retire her, but I couldn't comprehend as a young woman seeing my parents get up every single day and complain about going to work and come home every single day and complain about work. And I'm like, guys, you're not even 50 yet. Like, and this is me at like 10 years old saying this to my parents. I'm like, why don't you do something that you love? And they're like, oh, you think it's so easy, Juliana. There's healthcare, there's, you know, homeowners insurance. There's all these things that we need to make sure that we have for you. And, you know, it's not so easy, like not all jobs do. I'm like, listen, I'd rather come home to happy parents than come home to
Stressed
this
out.
environment. Yeah, and it really, I as an adult, I'm learning, I'm doing this year more than any other year in my life, a lot of like kind of peeling back the layers of who I am, how I got to be this way, and some of the blockages that I have and how I can break those barriers down and just continue to work on myself to be the best version of myself. And I realize, you know, your relationship with money starts at a young age. If you grow up in a household where money is always an issue, or like money is something you don't talk about, or, you know, when I first started my business, I didn't even know how to ask people to pay me. Right. It was like this dirty thing that I couldn't talk about. And, you know, it's taken a lot of time, especially as women, you know, not even to bring it there, but it's like, I feel like money is this thing that for me, I always saw men speak about, and it was always men sharing the money that they made, and never really the women in my family or in my life. And it was kind of like my mom just took care of the kids and went to work and came home. And I just knew that I never wanted that existence for myself. I wanted to wake up and be excited. You know, I want to wake up and be happy about my day. Otherwise, like, why am I even waking up? You know, and I know that that's not a reality for everyone. You definitely, I had a plan. So as I was going to work as a waitress, as a VIP hostess for Live, I wasn't miserable even if I didn't like my job, because I knew I'm doing this, it's a means to an end. My 10-year goal is I'm gonna live this way right now, but in 5 to 6 years, I'm going to be living the life that I want. And so I was happy to go to work knowing that, because in my head, I was already there. Like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't already the owner of my own version of MTV when I was a waitress at Maggiano's.
That's right.
Because in my head I was. So I'm very big on like manifestation, very big, you know, I've always made my passwords to my email, my password to my Uber account used to be Porsche soon. And then I got a Porsche. You know, so it's like, you know, it's kind of, I've always really kind of been a dreamer, and had the work ethic to match those dreams. So that's what the Never Not Working. I feel like we have so many tools in this day and age that we don't have to do something we don't want. I mean, even Uber, again, is such a great app because it allows you to make money on the side as a driver. If you want to go and start a flower business or a daycare or whatever, you can work on that and make those funds. You know, there's just so many different ways I feel like anybody could be an entrepreneur these days if they really tried, if they really wanted to.
How do you get your visions? Most people don't have visions just come to them.
Oh, I can't even I can't even shut them off. It's actually like it's problematic at times because
do you have them for other people and then you try to tell other people, oh, you should do this, 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 and this, and they look at you like you're crazy?
Yeah, all
Me
the time.
too.
I go to lunch and I'll be like, I'm just going to eat, and I'll look at the space. I'll be like, this would be a great place for a women's brunch, a women's empowerment brunch, or this would be a great place for XYZ. And it's like sometimes my friends will be like, Julz.
Sometimes our ideas are nuts.
Yeah, or not even nuts.
Harebrained, they just don't work.
It's just sometimes people just want to
like shut off.
One thing I will say is that the mantra did at some point take over to the point where now I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you need to not work. And I've realized that I'm the same way as you. I've always, even when I watch TV, it's a documentary because it's a subject that I need to learn about, or, but now, as of 2019, I've realized, and this is like nervous. A new development that I found. I know I see you.
I'm getting panicked over here.
We need to invest in ourselves, and sometimes that takes, like, when you're at the spa, you're not working. You know what I mean?
I'm working.
Even if you're in your head, I know.
Aren't you? I don't know how to shut that off.
Financial plan for 2020 when I was on the massage table at the last spa that I was at.
Thank you.
It all came to me in my head.
But what's wrong with that? Do you feel like the only problem that you have with that is other people telling you need to shut off and you need? That's the only thing I find is that people are always telling me it's enough, because they can't handle it.
I don't want to become somebody who is opportunistic. I don't want to become someone who only speaks to people because there's a means to an end, or only does something because it's getting me somewhere. I also want to just like enjoy the little things, like I kind of...
What are the little things?
I burnt myself out recently and I had to take a break. And so I went to Hawaii and I was going to just do a 10-day meditation retreat, and I realized like, oh, I need to stay here a little bit longer. And the little things are just like...
How do you burn yourself out?
Doing too much for too many people and not yourself. Having a schedule where you're in the office from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., taking meetings with clients for dinner from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m., checking on your artists at the studio from 10 p.m. until 4 a.m., sleeping for 4 hours and doing it all over again and thinking it's fine because you're never not working, no sleep, never not working, never not working.
Right.
But you need to be the well-oiled machine that works in order to be never not working, and you can't be that
proper
machine.
Sleep. I always say that, even though I don't get it all the time. I do vitamins, custom pharmaceutical grade custom vitamins specifically made for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I take them every day. I do 3 shots a week. I mean, you do. I'll put you on. It's 10X Health System. It's like changed my world.
Wow.
But I firmly believe in taking care of yourself. You have to if you're going to operate on these optimal levels.
So my mentality was, I'm never not working. I don't have time to do my nails. I don't have time to go to the spa. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to go grocery shopping and cook my food. But those moments are important even on a creative level. Like I find that now that I've kind of like slowed down a little bit and I make the time to make my food, I have more gratitude when I'm eating. I used to like go get food and eat it in the car on the way to my next meeting because
Can you hire out?
Can you hire out?
Can I hire out? Outsource? Can you as you expand and grow? Can you start having?
This was my life with 10 people on my team. I had 10 employees and I was eating my meals in my car on the way, but that was my choice. Like I would literally schedule things one on top of the other, because there was just so many things. So one thing that I've learned in the past year is how to say no. Very important.
Very true.
You got to say no. You have to pick the main projects that are important to you and focus on those things. And if something comes, I don't care how great the opportunity is. And I'd get great opportunities all the time. So it's like, how do you say no to doing a Hillary Clinton campaign or doing this or doing that? It's like hard things to say no to, but you just have to have that. You just have to know what your blueprint is so clearly that if something doesn't fit into that blueprint, then it's not gonna have a room in the house that you're building. Like, period. It's hard when you're, especially when you're on a media platform, and so opportunities, as I'm sure you and Grant can attest to, just come at you like things you may have never even thought of. Like, oh, I never thought of doing a retreat in Cabo. Right. I never thought of doing this and that, and it sounds great, but that is not.
But it
part
also
of the
takes
plan.
marketing and
it
this
takes
and that
all
and a
this
team.
time away
Yes.
from building the record label, which is a part of the 10-year plan, you know? So I'm really just kind of learning how to refine. And I'm learning as I go. I mean, I started this company when I was 24, 25 years old, and I've never been around entrepreneurs my entire life. I'd never met anybody who had their own business up until I was 21. So all of this is very new for me still, and I'm still learning
Do you ever get
every day.
Starstruck?
The only time that I was starstruck was when I saw Scary Spice. Because I grew up on the Spice Girls, and so for me, like we could never afford tickets to a Spice Girls concert or anything like that. So they were just so far off, and this was in a time before social media, so I didn't know what Posh was eating for the day or what Scary was doing when she was working out. It was kind of like this mystery still about celebrities and our favorite artists. So to see her now in this day and age was like a big moment. And then Beyonce kind of definitely took my breath away when I met her. She's incredible. But other than that, you know, these people are like, now I'm lucky enough to call them my associates and friends, even some of them. So, you know, I realize that they're just people like you and I.
Right.
And there are some incredible minds who are just like the most genius creatives I've ever seen. And sometimes I'll find myself being like, wow, I'm really watching Kanye West create his album right now. Like, I'm really, you know, I'm really in the studio while X is making this song. Like, it's just, sometimes I have to like reality check because I forget that.
Yeah, but you created that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you find it, a lot of people can't hang with you? They don't have the energy or the stamina?
All the time.
Does it frustrate you?
You know,
does it make you think you can't depend on people, that you have to do everything yourself because they lack the competency that you do?
To be honest, I had a team that I started with, one team member in particular named Imani. Where in the beginning, I felt that way, but they really picked up. My team got to a point where they knew what I was gonna want, what I was gonna need, like what I was about to say, how I would reply to a client. They could even go and reply as me, for me at certain times. Like, you know, we definitely got to that point. So as far as my team goes, yes, but like I do get frustrated. I find myself getting frustrated sometimes with friends or family when it's like, I find something to be so simple and I have to like take a step back and be like,
do you get impatient that you feel it moves too slow from the time of an inception to making it happen? It takes too long?
Yeah, and I don't want to be that person all the time.
I know.
It's because it becomes overwhelming for people.
I know.
I've had, you know, in the past year, like I said, I'm doing this work on myself where I realized like, oh, I didn't realize that I was a means of anxiety for some of the people in my life, because they knew that if they were going to be around me, they had to be on their P's and Q's, or they had to, and in a way it's like, a part of me is like, well, that's good. Keep it that way because you're making the people around you better. But at the same time, another part of me is like, I want to be nurturing and
Can
comforting.
you be both?
And I'm trying to be both. It's really hard to balance those two parts of your personality. You know, a part of me is like, go, 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 go. And a part of me really cares and wants the best for people. So it's like kind of trying to find the happy medium, and that balance I think is really important. And I'm working on it every day, you know? So, because not everybody wants to, some people look at us and they're like, I wish I could be like that. But some people are fine not being like this. And,
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's different paths for everyone.
People.
Everybody has their place, their purpose, their destiny, you know? And so kind of just realizing and recognizing that and embracing it is really important. And I'm just trying to be a better leader, CEO, friend, bridesmaid, you know, trying to be a better everything at this point.
Do you ever feel that you're failing at all of it? Some of it?
I had a moment this year at the top of the year where I really felt like I was just failing in every area. And that's when that was like the moment for me where I was like, okay, I need to just start over. I need to recharge, and I can't have any of the old the old team members. I need, you know, and it's sad, and I'm still reconciling with it, because these are the people I built my business with. These are the people that I would be excited to go to the office and conceptualize with. Like now, if I wanted to host a Never Not Working dinner here at this house, I have to go find new people to bounce these ideas off of and create this moment with. And I'm big on like relationships and really
Me too. Loyalty.
working with loyalty and just genuinely liking somebody that I
Me
work
too.
with. Like I have this crazy idea that I'd like to only work with people whose company I enjoy, you know? And there's people who are like, that's not realistic if you want to make lots of money. It's just not. But
my social life is the people that I work with, and they're my crew. Like it's very rare that I have a social life outside of it. And it's it's sad, but it's not sad. I'm happy. I'm doing what I want to do, but I do live in this little bubble of my world.
Work. Yeah, and that's what my life has been. And it's been, you know, my best friend from middle school, it was her 30th birthday this weekend, and she works with Salesforce. And she's selling Salesforce to, you know, she's selling the social media aspect of that to people. Now that she's in the selling the social media aspect, we have things that we can connect on and learn from one another career-wise. But before that, she was doing finance at Ford. So it's like, this person is my best friend. This is the one who knows me, who doesn't care. If I go broke tomorrow, she's still gonna be here. If I can't get her concert tickets, whatever. This is my friend. She knows me through and through. Now at this point in my life, there's nothing more important to me than keeping that relationship intact, keeping those relationships intact, because for the past, like I said, 6 years since I started my business, that wasn't my first priority, and work was my first priority, and getting, you know, hanging out with people, meeting people that could help me get into the rooms that I needed to be in, or get those projects that I wanted to get done, or, you know, people I could collaborate with on a work level. That was what was most important to me. But then I realized one day, like, I thought these people were also my friends because we were always together, getting dinner, doing this, because we're working together all the time. Right. But at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan, they're not there. They don't care. When I'm no longer, so you have to be successful in order to keep those relationships intact. And like, so we're all human. At one point, even if you're the creator of Nike, went bankrupt how many times, like failed how many times before he finally got to that point. You know, he thought his investor from China was his friend. He thought the factory owners were their friends. They had dinners, they went on trips, they knew each other's families. But guess what? At one point, when he couldn't write that check, they weren't there, because there's difference between business relationships and real friendships. I think is really important to have that balance, even if the two intertwine a little bit, you know. So this is where I am in my life. This is why I have this house, because usually I would just get a condo on the beach, and that way I could be closer to where I work, and I could have people over. And I'm like, I need boundaries. I need to be in a space where when I go, now I'm contradicting myself because this is going to be a live work space. But when I go home, I'm home, and I'm in my personal space. But I'll be very careful with who I let into my home this time. I'll be very careful with what work is being done here. You know,
what's the criteria for the people that you let in? Like, what have you learned from your past to now?
I used to ignore red flags all the time, because I'd see, like, for instance.
Yeah, give me an idea of what a red flag looks like to you.
I'm in the management business, so I manage artists. So I would be so passionate about the art, about how talented this person is, that it didn't matter to me if I saw them be cold. You know, if you see somebody cut somebody off that's done a lot for them and has been there, chances are that person's going to do, like, without any reasoning, and just, you know, the chances are that person's going to do that to you down the line, you know? And I'd be like, oh no,
they're never going to do that for me. I'm their friend.
Look at what I'm doing for them. Look at this, look at that. I'm the one who brought them here. I'm the one that got them their record deal. Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't matter. It's in their character. That's just, it's going to happen, you know? And you ignore the red flags. If you're, when somebody tells you something or shows you something, you have to believe them.
You don't have to, but the tendency is to believe them.
Well, meaning, like, so for instance, I dated someone, you know, I was in a relationship with somebody who told me an older man that he'd never been in a relationship before. And that it just wasn't his thing. He'd never been in a relationship. He didn't really know how to be in one. And I'm like, oh no, we can do this. Like, come on, I believe in you. You know, I didn't believe him. And then later down the line, when shit hit the fan, I was like, how could you do this to me, this and that? And he's like, I told you. I've never been in this scenario before. So it's like, I have no one to blame but myself.
That's right.
You know,
Always.
so when somebody shows you who they are, you should believe them, you know,
Yes,
and that's what I meant with that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I do that too with the red flags. So many times, it's been one of the biggest mistakes I've made, and it cost me a lot. It's hard. How do you overcome that betrayal when it happens?
You know, I've realized that in my life, I think we're all different, right? We all have different predispositions. I believe that I'm the type that learns through my relationships, whether it's a work relationship or a friendship or a romantic one. So I truly believe that these lessons this is how I need to learn my lessons. And I'm looking at it now as growth. Like, if it wasn't for this heartbreak, then
you wouldn't have learned.
I wouldn't have learned. If it
That's
wasn't
right.
for this artist leaving me, then I would have never considered, you know, I put 150% into everything that I do. And people will warn me sometimes, like, Julz, that's not required of you in this position. Like, you really only have to do X, Y, Z. And it's a double-edged sword, because I believe it's why I am where I am. I go above and beyond. But at the same time, sometimes you should listen to that advice, because if, for example, if you're a manager, that artist, you're just renting your time with that artist. You do not have ownership in that. It's like investing into a business that you don't own. As a manager, usually you don't invest a ton of money into a project, because that's what a label does, because a label has ownership in the music. A label has ownership in the projects, and that's when it makes sense financially. But me as a manager, my first time around, I'm like, I'll do whatever I need to do for this artist to look the way that they need to look, to get the music done, to be in the places they need to be, and X, Y, Z. But
are you forking out money for this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've had a roster of artists, you know. But as a manager, and these are things that you learn, a contract is just a piece of paper. Like, you have to go fight for that money. You have to then go into litigation. It's like a whole thing. So when somebody tells me something now, I take heed. Because I'm so used to people telling me, as a woman, as a rambunctious woman who likes to wear what I want to wear, drink what I want to drink, have fun when I want to have fun. Like, nobody can tell me that I can't do this. This has always been my...
I hate being controlled. That's my thing. I didn't want anyone to ever control me.
But now I'm like a little bit more open-minded to people's advice, to people's instructions. Now we're in a different space. And just trying to learn from, you know, when you start a business, like, it's just a learning experience, you know. And I feel like I've spent years learning. Now I'm ready to apply everything that I've learned, start fresh. I'm in this new space. It's important for me to, like, there's certain things that you find are important for your state of mind. It's important for me to be around foliage. It literally makes the biggest difference. Me waking up in this house, or waking up with an apartment that's mostly walls, or a condo that's like, you know, doesn't have a view. These are things that I need to do to invest in myself, for me to work creatively like I do, and just have the energy to work 20-hour days if I'm gonna continue doing that. And yeah, just really excited to be back in Miami, closer to my family, which I think is very important at this point that I'm at right now, the state that I'm in, and just really picking projects that move the needle. For a long time, I love creating experiences for people. And so I was doing all kinds of concerts, events, like Ragers. We kind of became known for our Ragers, 1 a.m. for a moment.
1 a.m., I want to talk about that.
Yeah. So 1 a.m. is a media company, and we have...
Why 1 a.m.? Why 1 a.m.? Why not 2 a.m.?
It's a funny story, because I had always wanted to go to California, and I got brought there by Beats by Dre early on when I first started working with them for a client offsite. So I was a part of their original influencer program at first, and then I became like an agency for them that started doing work with them. But at first, this was how I got a lot of my clients. So I was just, yes, Julz. They wanted me to post about them. People wanted me to, you know, host their events, like post their flyers. And then I'd go host the event and the DJ wasn't great. And the food could have been served in a different way. The servers' outfits I had
Did it make you look bad, or you're just noticing this?
No, so I would notice these things and then I'd be like, hey, you should have done X, Y, Z. And then I realized that I was a consultant. And then I realized that if I built a team, I could be the agency of hire that did those events for these people. And so instead of me just being the influencer that they stamped my photo on the flyer to get more people there, I was also the agency that was making sure that once the people got there, they had the best experience possible and they went home like loving that brand. So that was kind of how it started. That's exactly how
Do you stress out when you do all that and you show up at one of your own events and something's out?
I used to. I'm trying not to be that way, but yeah, I used to freak out.
Yeah, I freak out when I have big like we were talking about this.
Complex Con.
Yes.
I will never forget. I got to Complex Con at one time.
What's Complex Con?
So Complex Con is a really cool cultural gathering produced by Complex, the magazine that has everything. It's in California. They're doing their first one in Chicago in July, and it's basically the craziest mix of art, fashion, streetwear, panel discussions, educational, just networking. I mean, it's like on steroids. You go there and you meet your favorite rapper, your favorite designer, your favorite author, your favorite artist, visual artist, your favorite musical artist, and everybody's just like learning and mixing and mingling, and it's really cool. There's a lot of visual art.
And you did all that? You produced the event?
No, I had a space at the event. So there's a bunch of so like Puma has a space, Nike has a space, Chinatown Market has a space. So 1AM had a space. And so we've had a space there for the past 3 years. And what we would do is like, this particular year, we had a booth. We were sponsored by a weed company, Concierge, a marijuana company. And so we had this like locker school installation. And you would come, and if you were an artist, you can drop your USB in one locker. If you were a visual artist, you could drop, your photos in another locker. And we were basically like finding and connecting with creatives that we could then get jobs or work or, use for some projects that we were doing. And I also had like a big dance floor, and we of course hosted, basically like a battle, a rap battle. And so when I got there, we had a Never Not Smoking, you're not gonna like that one, a Never Not Smoking rug because our client was a cannabis company. And so we were like, we'll put a spin on Never Not Working, put Never Not Smoking, all this stuff. So when I got there was just a few things like there wasn't a speaker for the mic, or there wasn't this, and I'm like,
and you're a detail person.
So I am
a detail person.
I get there and I'm like, guys, and the first thing I do is list off all the things that are wrong. And my right hand at the time pulled me aside and was like, I just want to let you know that everyone's super discouraged because we've been here setting up since 5 a.m. And
like,
you get here at 1 o'clock, you're late, Julz, like you're not even here, you haven't been here with us all day setting up, you have no idea what we had to go through to blow up the bubble for the interviews and put this in place and put this in place, and you come here and the first thing you do is complain about the things that aren't right. I said, listen, we have 10 minutes until doors open. I'll give you your compliments later. We need to make sure that everything that's not in place is in place before our potential next clients or sponsors or partners or investors walk by, so that when they walk by, everything is done. I'm very grateful that you guys have been here all day.
I know,
up,
but there's a time and a place for the drama,
and
it's not right now.
And listen, I'll take everybody out to dinner, and I'm gonna get, and I do that, but in the moment, like, let's get what we need to get done.
Yes.
I don't have 3 minutes to tell you what a great job you've done. I have 3 minutes to like make sure that this is perfect before the next person walks by. So
love you.
That's kind of how, but I'm like, I question, like, did I have like an extra 30 seconds to just be like, hey guys, this is great.
Like,
however, we need to fix this, we need to fix that, we need to maybe start it on a positive note, what's the right thing to do? Is it that hard for me as a leader to just walk in and say, this looks great, everybody, thank you so much. However, can we XYZ? Like, look, it took me 5 seconds.
I know.
It would have changed their whole mood for the day.
I know.
So I get it.
I'm working on the same thing. Me too. And sometimes I have to hammer. But most of the time I'm totally freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool. But there's moments like that where it's just, I can't even think like that. I can't even be like, PR girl. I'm thinking about, I have to get it done. And in those moments, like, and then later I do the same thing that you do. Oh my God, I hate being a bitch.
And you're like, man,
I hate that they
wish I didn't act like that.
I know. And I was like, God, I was too hard on her. I made her cry. And then I felt horrible. I'm like, oh my God, I do the same thing.
Yeah. So, balance and I think that like, I'm learning meditation. I'm learning how to like slow down, think before I speak. These are things that I
hate hearing all that.
I'm just so used to like rapid fire, never not working, this and that. But I feel that if I were to be able to master the balance that I'm trying to obtain, right? Then imagine I'd have the same
balance
team.
of being the nice,
but also productive and getting things done, and like being a place where my team can learn and grow with me, but not feel beat down or wore out or intimidated. You know what I mean? Like, because I'd like to have a team that I have for 30 years. That way I don't have to go through teaching somebody. But guess what? That's not going to happen if I'm not a gracious leader, So it's like, that has to come from me.
What's your mission? What's your purpose?
Well, my mission is really I would love it if like I could be responsible for hundreds of thousands of people doing what they love for a living. Like, I think that the world would be a better place if everybody was just happy doing what they love to do. So, in a small way.
And how do you do that?
Right now, as a manager, I'm taking artists, musicians who are working in restaurants or doing XYZ, whatever they need to do to get by, seeing the talent in them and getting them to a place where they don't ever have to worry about money again, and they can just create music, and within that create a business and hire their friends and family, and then they're entrepreneurs, they're a whole entity in themselves. And that's just one thing. I'd like to, every single person that's ever worked for me has gone on to do incredible things, whether we ended amicably or not. Like, I've always gone and found people that I believed in and like taken them from there. Like,
how do you do that on a scale? Do you have interest in doing that on scale?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to do that. But I mean, that's not my only
goal.
I also feel that I'm here to just bring people together and connect the dots for people and use the platform that's going to come from that to make a difference on issues that I find very important. For me, foster care is something that really needs to be reformed.
I agree.
There's a lot of laws that need to be changed in terms of that. And I really believe that fostered kids and orphans are the master networkers. They're the master. They could either become the biggest criminals in society or the best entrepreneurs we've ever seen. Right. And it's up to us as a society to support them with the tools that they need so that they can be the latter.
I agree. Rather than drug them and tell them they have problems and disorders.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Exactly.
But let me ask you, what is your legacy? Like, what would they say on your tombstone? Oh, wow. What would you want it to say?
I'd want it to say...
I know that's a heavy question.
That's so heavy.
Just loaded on you.
Yeah.
But I want to know
I'd like to just be like somebody that everybody feels that their life was better because I was in it.
Unbelievable.
I just want to...
That's what I say. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I just want to like help light up anything that I touch.
Now, how do the people know that's your vision that work for you?
Yeah, they know.
Is that their vision too?
Yeah, I only am drawn to really genuine, like, good-hearted people. And yeah, we all have our own specific missions, whatever that may be. Like, but I think all of us, we want unity. We want to help young entrepreneurs and young creatives realize their dreams and their worth. Like, because we've been in those shoes. I've been in a place still to this day. Sometimes I don't know what to charge for certain things. There's new services that are coming about every day. So just really helping to supply the tools to creative people that they need, or whether that's a connection, whether that's getting them a client, to really just expand upon their platform, their art, what they love to do.
How do you decide what to charge?
That's a good one.
It's made up, right?
Yeah, you could, listen.
It's all made up.
Man.
So you can just make it up.
Literally, I used to charge, let's just say I would charge $5,000 to host a party. And one day, somebody that I was working closely with was like, Julz, You're hosting the party, you're creating the content for the party and then distributing it prior and afterwards. You're bringing the influential people to the party. You're telling the DJ what to play. You're deciphering the lighting, the decor, XYZ. You're putting girls who have energy next to big clients that don't have any fun around them but have all the money in the world to spend. Like, that's worth way more than $5,000. So like the next time somebody asks you how much you're charged, say 20. I'm like, nobody's gonna pay 20 for somebody to host, promote, and market a party. And they're like, try it, see what happens. And I did, and they said yes the first time. And I was so mad because I'm like, I've been quoting 5,000.
How much money have you left on the table?
So much.
That's right.
So much, you know? So you really never know. You really never know. And it's important to have associates in your field that you can like bounce numbers off of. And I think that that's what our problem is as women, to be honest, is like, these men will sit down and over a whiskey talk about their business deals. And God forbid I ask one of my friends how much they get paid to post for Pretty Little Thing. Do you think that they're gonna tell me the truth? You know, it's like we understandably have this built-in comparative nature as women because we weren't allowed to work for so many years. We weren't allowed to vote for so many years. So it's like, hey, we had to, in America, you know, and still in many other places, we're lucky that that's not the case now, but like a woman had to make sure that she had a man, and that was the most important thing, to get married so that you could have a house and kids and somebody with a good job because you couldn't get a good job. So I understand where it comes from, but now we're in 2019, so we're not there
that's
anymore.
what I'm saying. You don't
now there's
certainly you don't remember those days.
Yeah,
I don't remember those days.
No, of course.
But you think it's just ingrained in society.
If it's like, yeah, it's like a societal thing. I don't know if it's scientific, if it's like a gene in women that like we need to like work out, you know what I mean? So, like, if
what do you think it is? You think we don't have the guts to ask, to do the ask?
I think
what
that we were always taught to be polite and like not ruffle
and to be girly
feathers and to nurture, and you know, so that's one thing that we need to break out of if that's how we were raised. And I also think that it's a societal thing, and I see more women, you know, we see all these like femme groups coming together, and like we really got to practice what we preach. We really have to ourselves, like you need to make sure that you don't see somebody else like you that's also in, because it's easy to see me and champion me because I'm kind of like in a different bracket,
in a completely
right?
different
But if
space.
you see another woman who's also the same ethnicity as you, also the same age bracket as you, and she's doing the same thing, preaching the same entrepreneurial tidbits. She's got a successful husband who's also in real estate, and she's got great content and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing inside that makes you like a little bit like, oh,
jealous,
you know,
competitive.
we gotta knock
I have
it out.
it with everyone, just so everyone's clear.
Yeah, and listen, I have it too. That's why I can describe it so well.
I think men do too, though.
Yeah, but you know,
for sure.
But they're not as like
cutthroat.
They're not as not cutthroat, but they're not as like emotionally attached to that feeling as we are. You get what I'm saying? They could still go and hang out and get drinks and do business deals together, whereas we tend to like not deal with that person or just see it as like, oh, that's my nemesis. Instead, we need to go to that person and say, hey, we're doing the same thing.
How do we make this work?
How do we collaborate? What have you learned in the past 5 years? Here's what I know. You know what I mean? And share that information because that's the only way we're going to get anywhere close to bridging the pay gap. That's the only way we're going to get anywhere close to having the same amount of spaces in a field for us as there are for men. Because they're working together, you know what I mean? And I see women, and I don't want to make it seem like we're this catty group of women that just don't, you know, I see it every day, the collaboration. I see it every day, women championing one another. Yeah. I want to see more of it. I want to see it on a deep, I want to see it not be so surface level. I want to really dig into those very important, what am I trying to say? I want to dig into that and like really just blow it off the lid and just I want to see us really immersed in one another and helping each other out. And
I think it's time. I think people are interested in that now too. I think men and women are interested in powerful women. At least that's what I'm saying. You need to come hang out with my people because I know so many guys that are like, where do I meet a powerful woman that understands me? That's like, you know.
Tell them to come on over to Coral Gables.
All right, well, look, on a last note, what would your advice be to either your young self, although I don't think you needed any advice. I mean, you're just so miles ahead of the game at such a young age. It's amazing to me. And I hate to bring age into it, but there is an age factor. It comes with, it's like what you said,
Experience.
You're learning exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason I bring the age into it, is because of it's an experience factor. So let's say, what would you say to the young girl that is in her early 20s or late teens that is trying to figure her life out and wants to become like a little mini powerhouse and is trying to step into her own skin? How does she do it when she feels awkward, uncomfortable, like everybody else has something and she doesn't, and they know more than she does? I went through all of that.
Well, I think the most important thing that I needed to learn, and have hopefully I've learned it now at this point, but fuck what other people think. Literally, fuck it.
You won't even know them in 5 years.
Please everyone, that thing that happened on Twitter, that whatever that happened, like that, you are not gonna care about that in 5 years.
You won't remember it in next week.
Well, there's some mistakes that I've made that I definitely remember, but it's like a part of those mistakes is engaging with people who do not care to really look and understand who I am. Stop trying to win the approval of others. Like, you just have to stop. It's so hard in this society because that's what we do all day on our phone, right? We're on these apps and it's like, we're posting because we want to get likes, we want to get shares, we want to get comments, we want to get retweets. It's like, post and go. You know what I mean? You cannot look at every comment and care. And it's so hard because if you're like me, you care. Like, I genuinely care.
I am sensitive.
I want to know what people think. I care what people think. I'll ask 5 of my friends what they're wearing and what they're gonna wear and if they like what I'm wearing before I leave the house. But guess what? None of that fucking matters.
It's a survey point.
It's like everything's a goddamn survey. Excuse my language, but it's like, dude, I need to. When I think somebody's cool, when I'm like, I really want to be friends with that person. When I see someone who does not give a fuck, that's when I'm like, I'd love to be that person's friend. You just see like somebody like a Billie Eilish who is like 16, 17.
Her.
You see this young girl, she's not even 18 years old. This girl does not give a fuck. She does not care. She wears whatever she wants to wear. She captions whatever she wants to caption. She sings about what she wants to sing about.
Her lyrics.
And guess what? If she says something that offends you, do you think she is gonna apologize? No, she's not. And she has that confidence. She has that sense of self
Yeah.
that somebody like me, I don't even have at my age. Wow. Do you know what I mean? And I can admit that. I care too much. It's like, I want to get to that point. I want to just move and go and not look back and not care. Hey, I offended you? Sorry. Keep it moving. I'm not going to continue.
Well, then you know what's going to happen.
What?
If you develop that, you're not going to have that little balance thing that you're looking for so much. You said earlier, you're trying to be like, hey guys, nice job, but we have to get it done. You said that. You're going to lose that.
I want to always be genuine. I want to always be kind. It's not hard to be kind. It's not hard to have good intentions. It's not hard to do the right thing. Sometimes it is. But it's important to do the right thing. As long as I feel like I'm doing the right thing, my intentions are good, I know my value, my worth, and my integrity and my morals, then I'm not doing anything to purposely harm someone. Then if I offended you, I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it moving. Either you're gonna forgive me or you're not, And that's what has been my problem in my career, because I've offended people, and I have literally, if there's like 20 people on Twitter that are like, oh, we can't believe you said that, I will go and talk to I literally would go and talk to each of those 20 people and be like, oh, well, I only said that because X, Y, Z, and blah, blah, blah. Listen, these people do not care. It's very easy to go and look at what I do on a day-to-day basis, how I use my time, where I invest my money, the events that I put on, what I'm preaching, you know what I mean? And see who I am and what matters to me. You can go look at a 140 character tweet and judge me off of that. But if you really care If you really care as much as your Twitter fingers are saying, then you're gonna go online and you're gonna see what I'm about, and then you're gonna understand that was just something it was a miscommunication, or as a misstep, or as a mistake, because I'm human and I make those. But I'd like to see what your social media, what would your life be like? I'd love to see some of these people who have so many things to say.
Don't even have a picture.
If I were to say,
they have an egg.
Exactly, and half of the time it's that. Half of the time, I mean, listen, one time somebody said, literally, I was crying for a whole day, and I couldn't even understand how I could be so dumb to not even look to see who this person that was saying these words to me was. But my friend pointed out to me, she's like, Julz, they said, your parents didn't want, it was like something about being adopted, right? Like, you're this and this and that. It was really, really mean comment. And I was so upset about it. And my friend said, Julz, she screenshotted it. She went there. She said, they have 30 followers. They've posted one thing and it's a black square, and they don't even have like a picture of themselves anywhere. You're literally letting somebody who can't even say what they have to say to you from their own mouth make you feel this way. Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta stop. Like, I just wasted 24 hours being sad about this.
I call those the haters, and haters need to be ignored. All they try to do is distract you from your goals and your purposes. They don't have the energy, the stamina. They eventually drop to the wayside, which is different from an enemy. Yeah. An enemy are the ones seeking to destroy you, and something has to be done about them. Yeah. But those are very few. The haters, I just ignore them all, But knowing that you're sensitive and that you care, as long as you can set up little systems in place to deal with that. Yeah. That's what I do. I'm like, okay, I know this about me. How do I need to adjust to know when to let it go, and know when I need to be tough or strong despite caring.
How do you know? And there's some instances that are like different, I mean, I don't know. I'm still living and learning as I go.
Always, all of us.
There's just sometimes I feel like the rule of thumb is it's best to not say anything. It's best to not respond. But sometimes you can't let people create a false narrative. Sometimes you have to hold people accountable for their words and their actions, and say, hey, that's not true. Here are the facts.
Right.
When to come out and do that, and
that's
when to not.
That's right.
And that's what a publicist is for, I suppose.
And that's what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a publicist, but I need one. I definitely need one.
All right. We're going to have so many people calling in. We want to be her publicist.
Please do, because I just, I'm so great with creating narratives for other people and helping other people control their narratives. But it's like you could give good relationship advice, but then you don't take it yourself sometimes. That's I feel how I am in this business, is I'm really good with helping other people storytell. And I thought I was doing a good job telling my story, but I've looked back and I've realized, like, there's been, I was telling my story on an app where everything disappears. So all these things that I thought So all these things that I thought everybody knew about me, they don't. So it's like, if you go look at my Instagram right now, which I need to like rework it, you might not be able to tell that I have an all-female marketing agency. You might not be able to tell that I manage artists or have a radio station or a record label. There's a lot of pictures of me in a bikini in Hawaii. There's a lot of, so if you just go look, and that's our resume nowadays, right? If you just go look, then I'm assuming, well, everybody knows that I've been doing #lunchbag and giving back to the community and doing that. No, they don't. It's up to me to make sure that they know that. And I can't be upset. I'm like, oh, people keep calling me a Snapchat influencer. Like, this is so upsetting. Don't they know I have 3 businesses? I've put it here. I've done a Forbes article. I've done this, I've done that. Listen, people, it's not up to them to go and research what I do. I need to make it easy for people to find, this is what I'm about. This is my story, And so you've done a great job with that.
I could do better. I love that you take responsibility for that. And that is one thing that I learned, that, you're competing with CNN and Fox News and, the earthquake that happened and the shooting that happened and all the stuff on Twitter. Every single day, people are being bombarded with so much information and so data at, YouTube videos.
So only taking snippets of things. So you have to make sure that everything
and
you're
it's
putting
not
out,
going through.
Consistent.
And that's right. And I think, because I've said that before, I don't want to repeat myself. And my husband's like, are you kidding me? Like, that audience didn't see, they're not following every single day of your life and doing that. They don't know. I mean, I do with some things, but some things I just, don't.
Yeah, sometimes it's better. I mean, if I'm like on a private vacation or something like that, then I'll probably wait a few days before I put the post up on static.
Or the this or the that, Anyway, it has been like I feel like I could just go on for hours.
Yeah,
You've given
there's
out so
I'd
much
love to speak with you about also.
so much content. It's just like so many things have come out of your mouth while I've listened to you. I'm like, God, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's like thinking in my head, you know?
Wow.
Like I didn't even ask you what's your greatest challenge or what's been your hardest obstacle. So we might have to have a part 2.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay.
There's a lot
we
of
might have to. I mean,
answers
you're
for
just
those.
yeah.
Lots of challenges, lots of obstacles. I feel like my whole life has been this crazy obstacle course, but.
You want to tell me real quick?
Oh, man.
What's been the hardest thing you had to overcome?
A personal moment of mine becoming public.
Can you say?
And just having to deal with that. I mean, there's just, you know.
You don't want to rehash it.
I don't
it's
want to
already public.
I don't want to bring it back up, you know. But I was extorted for a tape that I made with a boyfriend at the time, and it ended. I got police involved in all these things, and it ended up leaking anyway. So.
Was it a sex tape?
Yeah.
And you didn't know? I mean, you knew you were being filmed. You didn't know it was being leaked.
I filmed it myself. Yeah, I don't like porn. I like to just
have fun.
Yeah.
But then what happened? He released it and then wanted to...
No, it wasn't him. It was a girl. I'm still in the court case for this. So it was a girl who I had thrown a birthday party for that I left my phone on the table at the birthday party, and she took it and then waited a few months and thought that I had just come into some money. So I had, and I was publicizing that I was about to buy my parents a house and all this kind of stuff.
She thought she was going to get her money.
She hit me with a threat that she would put it out if I didn't give her basically the down payment for my parents' house. So that was like a very long, strenuous
and the police
process.
were involved.
Huh?
And so now you involved the police.
Yeah, she's going to be facing up to 25 years because it was a very high level crime. That the lengths that they went through and all the kind. I mean, they went through my phone book and mailed it emailed it to all my clients, sent it to all my friends. Every day I was waking up with a new person saying, "Hey, I just got this thing." So that was probably
the lowest.
The lowest, yeah. And it's really hard to deal with that, knowing that like your father or anybody at any moment could. Now that I think about it, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said it, because like obviously there's people who don't know about it because you didn't know about it, and so.
But you know what? We all have things and situations, and you know, listening to you beforehand, I could get that the foster care system and all of that was probably a challenge, but hearing new challenges I think humanizes even more. Like some people could have listened to the interview and thought, but she's just like that and everything just works for her and she figures everything out. But then you come across a stumbling block like that and everyone can be like, whoa, that stops you in your tracks. I mean, that's
that was definitely the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
And then to have to pick
every
yourself
single
up
time that I get into a relationship, I have to confront
Deal with
that. And whatever man that chooses to, you know, try that out with me has to be like
strong enough,
yeah, to deal with that. It's hard for a man to deal with that, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm just doing the best that I can with it, but it's definitely something that still bothers me. You know, I've spent so much money for years just having my lawyer send takedown notices. It keeps popping up on sites, and then eventually I was like, it's fucking out. Like, what can I do? You know, I'm not going to continue to like let this thing.
Do you regret that?
My life.
Would you have?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wish that it didn't. I mean, but hindsight is 2020. It also is like, there's nothing that anybody can do to me that will break me more than that did. So I feel like
that made you
bring
stronger.
it on. Like, what? Everyone's seen me naked. What could you possibly do that's gonna stop me? Nobody is gonna stop me from getting up and working and going towards my goals, because every fucking obstacle has possibly been thrown at me and I'm still here. So.
Do you feel an extra need to protect yourself?
Yeah, but I'm not very good at that. I feel like I need good people around me to help, because sometimes I'm just so like welcoming and open, and me too. I'm, you know, oh, it's my birthday. Can you throw? Yeah, I barely know you, but yeah, let me throw you a birthday party. Come, sit at my table. My belongings are all here.
Yeah, and then stab me in the back when you steal my phone and want to charge me for a video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I know. I've been there. I mean, not there,
But,
but
yeah.
with my own things.
Yeah,
I know. It's hard to deal with.
I think it's important to have good people with open eyes and open ears around you, and just be very aware and like take your time.
Aware.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're killing it.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so
so
much.
much for being on the show.
You.